Yo, and hello everybody. Welcome to a video that explores a continuing series. Now, if you remember a little while ago, I did post a video about experience with Kabam Support. If you remember, that story covered problems with getting progression done when it was the player's opportunity was told by Kabam, oh, well, we'll do it for you because it looks like there's been a bug, which was confirmed as a bug. Then said they wouldn't, then they would, then they wouldn't, then they would. So situations like that do happen. I've been inundated with a lot of different things to cover, and there's things on Instagram, there's places in other areas, and I will be covering all of those different stories I've been sent and going over screenshots that they've been sending as well. So this is a continuation of that series where we look at instances where Kabam Support have not been helpful or been helpful, because I do want to see them both. I want to see good things that Kabam Support have done. So let's look at this new one. This is Gallon's story. So back a little while ago, there were some crystals, these kind of fang crystals. The one that you had an opportunity to get that lovely Blade 6-star, which is going to be buffed at a later date. So Gallon had a problem, and it seems to be something like before, similar problem, where he's been charged twice for stuff. Here's the example here, and what we're going to be exploring is, for God's sake, I'm being charged twice the amount for crystals. And let's have a look further into this. So the player says, I am from New Zealand and I have done so many purchases on this effing game, but recently I am charged twice and 3 times for each transaction. I have raised a complaint recently and you didn't respond properly. I am attaching the price shown on my game, the Apple purchase history, and the amount that got debited from my account. This time I have used a new Visa card, a new account to keep track, and I purchased 1 Cavalier Crystal pack and I got charged twice on my bank account and 1 more pending on my Apple store. This that's like I've been charged 3 times. What the hell is happening? This is stopping buying anything from your game, and obviously, you know, very annoyed about that. Now you're probably wondering like me, or kind of thinking like me, this might be something down to do with a bug with the device and the game, especially if you kind of like click on something, which I'm not going to be doing because I've stopped spending on the game since the 26th of December, and more on that in a future update video about certain things which I've explained. But the fact is, if you click on something and press that get now, you don't want to see like that thing as soon as you click on it, kind of like multi-tap it or kind of like multi-grab it. Or in a case where what's going to happen is you've got to make that active purchase. As soon as you click that button, you will be asked whether or not you actually chose to buy it. And if it's a case that something is replicated in there, it's either going to be a case that that's a problem with the device, it's a problem with that particular interaction, or there's something that's amiss right here. But in any case, let's read on and find out more about what's happening with this situation and the problems that this player has. And this is where the support system becomes a little bit antiquated in how you kind of deal with these steps. If somebody has read through what the player said in that previous support ticket, which we highlighted, it may have been best at the first instance to go, okay, well, this might have been an incorrect purchase, so therefore you can go down the route of a refund, which you can get from the Apple store. No. You have to be passed to somebody else, which increases the length of time in which this ticket is effectively responded to. With this response here, first of all, saying thank you for contacting Kabam Support. I understand you were charged twice for the Fang and Claw Nexus pack. I am escalating your ticket to the payment specialist so they can take the additional steps needed to address your concern, and due to an unexpected increase in support tickets, you may experience a delay in your ticket. A specialist will contact you. And again, as I said, this may have been better time spent just simply saying you can issue a refund if you didn't make this purchase via Apple or via the correct places, so it saves a bit of time rather than just fobbing off and leaving a late for time before getting anything actually done. And at this moment, a wild Jack appears and asks for all the relevant details of all of the stuff. Well, not all of the stuff, because most of the stuff were there in the actual the kind of the attachments and the start point of the email. But apparently Kabam want more. So we can verify your purchase and want to ensure that you receive refunds for any additional charges promptly. Reply to us a screenshot of the purchase from iTunes so that we can further investigate for context. We need additional screenshots because the screenshots you have submitted only display the date the purchase was made. To fully investigate the charge you had received, we'll need to see the dates the purchase were made. Here's when more facts and more interesting twists and turns come into place. Now, when you buy any of the things in game, especially with the ones that have limits to them, there's no example on screen whilst I'm kind of like recording this video, but you know what I mean when it comes to like purchases and limits, because there could be 3 that you could purchase. Now, as we said, it could have been a bug that affected the multiple purchases, and wouldn't that mean that you would receive that crystal amount 3 times? Not in this case. In this point right here is, again, as I said, the twist. Because the player says, if you are effing from Kabam, you can see that I got 1 Cavalier Crystal and how much it is showing on my game. So that's basically saying, okay, well, of the 3 that it's purchased on this player's account, so their transaction ID or transaction information, and as well in their bank account, they did not receive 3 times the limit which you are meant to receive for those purchases. So therefore, it would mean that there is a problem, there is a bug, and it seems like there's something else at hand right here. And this again where the further problem kind of develops, where the question by this operator called Ginger is then kind of given back to, because there's a lot of these. This like takes like a 7-day window for response, and maybe even more than that, in order to kind of get a real answer from Kabam on the subject. And unfortunately, as it says here, we are unable to accept screenshots of any emailed iTunes receipts as they do not contain the information we need to investigate. But surely that information would be with Kabam in some element. And the player says, I didn't receive the bill for the last transaction yet. All he has is the purchase history and previous bill information, if that helps. And there's attached a recent purchase history. The amount which got debited from the bank and the screenshot that I have made only show crystal pack, which you can also verify from your end, so what they see in game. It's very difficult and stressful to monitor each and every transaction if you guys are doing like these. I am too scared to do any purchases from this game going forward. For using the words, but I hard-earned money. You just can't take double and 3 times what I purchased, and you take ages to reply and don't even wait 1 day for me to reply and close the request. Now, there's a few back and forths over several days, and you might be kind of thinking like, oh, this seems like, a few issues because the player's unable to get the correct information that Kabam need. Kabam are very specific as well, because they're like, this has to be this type of information. In any case, several days passed and it comes to a head, as the player's just like lost all kind of like hope in actually getting this resolved, especially, and the point still being that, look, well, your end, Kabam, you can actually see what has been delivered to the account. If it's 1 Cavalier Crystal, if it's 1 pack of the Cavalier Crystal, the Nexus Crystal, and the 2 other subsequent kind of like transactions not going into the game stuff, then that does pinpoint some kind of like issue right there. Why is it being triplicate 3 purchases as opposed to the 1, and why have they only received the 1 and been charged the 3? Also, there's a final attempt to get a screenshot over to Kabam a bit below that. And at this stage, over like 2 weeks, it is quite easy to just lose it. That's quite literally lose it with this situation. It gets worse because this seems to be something that has happened in the past to this player. They have taken some previous interaction and problems and put it into like what seems to be 1 ticket, which again is like confused everything, and it's not taken as one scenario and another scenario. Maybe the previous scenario was kind of resolved, but this new scenario where this new crystal, which looks to be again purchased in 3 as opposed to 1, and even it's a case like Kabam treading their heels coming into what is a 2-week period of then coming up with something. Oh, this actually happened. No, this actually happened. Oh no, we need to see this of your purchase history. Oh no, we don't, but we need to see this. And it just seems to be like it doesn't go in the correct way. This whole scenario is left with the player contacting, or hopefully in contact at some point, with a more senior person within the payments team of Kabam. But it does definitely kind of like mean that in situations, I mean, like in the previous situation we saw with the incident around trying to get an answer of the completion of the event, that sometimes Kabam Support and the way that it's kind of filtering traffic and the advice and how it kind of works, it's not there. It's definitely something that does require a lot of work to it, and especially from people knowing the game, knowing, say, how the Apple Store and Google Play Store work and their interaction with their partners, which are Google or Apple, in order to deal with situations similar to this. Definitely not ideal when it comes to this, and as well how the transactions work. It definitely does put a little bit of fear in when you're doing the purchase. And I would say, if you have any problems with purchasing stuff in game, is to know your rights when it comes to asking for a refund from Apple and Google, but also when it comes to like how your device interacts with a payment system. So I would say as well, making sure that you're connected to the correct type of card, making sure that things are, again, correct in their interaction and other stuff like that. And yep, this has been one of these videos exploring issues when it comes to Kabam Support and how it is to deal with these particular situations. If you have had a good experience or indeed a bad experience with Kabam Support, get in contact. You can message me in the description on the email or Discord, DMs, or Instagram, or wherever. It's always good to see a large chain of kind of screenshots and responses, because then we can really get an idea as to what has gone right and what has gone wrong. But it'd be nice to see something that may have gone right with Kabam Support. What are your thoughts on situations like this? Put it in the comments down below. And thank you very much for watching. See you on the next edition of the series. And as always, I shall see you in the next piece of content that I'll be recording, whenever that will be. Cheers and have a lovely day.